to play the music. It's time to light the light. It's time to get things started. Why don't you get things started?
You're looking a little sheepish.
This is horseshit.
It's time to get things started on the most
Sensational, inspirational, celebrational,
Masturbational.
Sharon.
I can't hear a
Can you hear
goddamn
me?
word you're saying.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Seriously Silly with Sharon. This is ComedySlamRadio.com. You can also watch us on Ustream.tv. And we have a special guest on the show tonight. Tony somewhere is missing. I don't know why. I'm sure he'll be here later. But if you'd like to introduce yourself.
I'm Alan Dempsey.
And Alan,
That was deserved.
what do you do, Alan?
That choir of
He's a
angels
king.
was deserved. There it is. I do comedy. I make with the yuck yuck.
He makes with the yuck yuck.
As you can see, clearly by my wacky hat.
That is wacky. And the glasses are very 1962.
Well, the hat
kinda
is my
Kennedy.
The hat is really my whole act. I get up there with a wacky hat on, and I play with it between each joke. Like I do this, I go, whoa! And the kids love it.
The kids. So you play to kids, or are you just talking
I
about
feel
like old people?
When I see myself, I feel like I'm hiding behind the fucking, like I'm in
You
the.
can move it.
I'm in the brush.
You could move it if you like to.
Attacking people.
There you, ooh,
There's
look
my
at that.
gorgeous visage.
See, I like to put mine down and then like up towards my mouth. That way you could see my face.
Oh, much more pornographic though.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
I like it.
Talk right into the mic. Okay,
Yeah.
so tell it. When did you start stand-up comedy?
Oh God, about 4 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you have anything that you'd like to plug that's coming up? Nice shirt,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
I have jack shit. No, this the most recent this Sunday at Improv I'm doing with we're doing a big benefit for Hurricane Sandy.
Oh, good.
And I'm one of the I don't even know, like I have no details. Like there's so many people on the roster
Oh, really?
that for me to even start trying to list them, I'd get lost. And then I don't know. I mean, what do we do in a minute? Like there's so many of us.
Really?
I mean, I don't know.
A minute.
I don't know. I made that up. I have
Okay.
absolutely no idea how
30 seconds, go.
yeah, I don't know how much time we're even gonna do. So, I'm gonna get up there and do, the cleanest, safest shit I got.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Everybody, good night.
I had to do 30 seconds at Gotham Comedy Club when I was Gwiggy, and I went up to New York a couple of years ago trying out for Last Comic Standing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what it was called, right?
When I
30 seconds. I'm like, what? I was like, what?
how you doing tonight? Fuck off. Bye.
I was freezing. I was numb, and I literally pulled my scarf down over my nose. I'm like, what? That's exactly. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I
20 seconds.
time's ticking. Yeah, that's crazy. So, what can you go to? What is it? TampaImprov.com?
I think it's actually improvtampa.com.
Improv.
It's one of those
Okay.
combinations.
So either one, I'm sure you'll find it if you Google or whatever. Down in Ybor, 8th, right? Is it on
Yes.
8th? Yeah, 8th Street. Okay.
Avenue? Street.
8th Avenue?
I think it's Avenue.
Yeah,
Who
that's
cares?
right, because
You can
7th
find it.
Avenue. Yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah.
Do you know how to Google?
Google.
You know
Google.
people?
Google.
I'm looking right at you. Fuckers.
Google.
Google it.
And oh my God, I'm going to be there December 5th. That's a Wednesday to have a reunion show with Got Jokes.
Oh, yeah? Have
That's
you
been
been with them regularly
interesting.
for however long?
No, not in a. Almost no. Less than a year ago, I did HSN's Christmas party at Nova with some got jokes with Daniel, Tarek, Gwig, and
Oh, he's so famous now. You just call him Gwig.
I've known him since I'm 17.
Gwig. Eh.
And it's weird because I say Mike and no one knows what I'm talking about.
I wouldn't know the hell
See,
Mike.
so I have to say Gwiggy or Gwig because then
Gwig.
Or no, I'm sorry, he goes by Gwignum style now.
Right. Which,
So
why wouldn't he?
yeah, so now I have to get used to saying that because whenever I say Mike, they're going who? I was like, Gwig. Oh, okay.
Gwig.
So yeah, gotta go by Gwiggy.
Gwiggy wasn't
Gwiggy.
enough. We
Now
had
it's
to
Gwig. Now
chop
it's
that shit down to Gwig.
now as soon as it's gonna be just
Gwa.
Gua. Okay, so what would you say is your particular? Do you think you have a particular style of comedy?
Well, it's evolving. When I first started, I was really you know, my guys were always the edgy guys, you know, so that was what I was supposed to do, right? You're
Right.
supposed to get up there and talk about date rape and, you know, just whatever. I never did it. I don't like it when I see a lot of young guys do like, I said nigger, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's their whole act is like, oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was never that. It was more like, I have a point and I have a viewpoint, but I'm going to go to the darkest place I can with that viewpoint to really kind of grab the audience by the nuts and make them see it my way, you know? The older I get, it's weird. Like, I'm getting nicer.
Well,
And-
well, is it because you're getting older, or do you think it's because of what kind of material you're able to do in certain clubs? Because
I
most
think
of that
it's-
stuff you could do in bars and wherever you want, but if you're going to go to a club, they're not
Right.
going to allow you to do that stuff.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there was a survival technique thing happening that I didn't even catch until you just said that. But it's also like the more you do this, the more you start to notice other people. You know, when I was a kid, it was like I'm gonna watch Carlin and Chappelle, and that's it. Like I don't give a fuck about anybody. You know, oh, and then there's some guy named Norton, and he's almost as dirty as Carlin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then one day you really, you're in your 30s and you really truly watch Brian Regan, and you're like, this guy's a fucking genius.
It becomes different because when you're a comedian, you're watching other comedians. It's a total different experience because
Right.
you're analyzing them so much
In a different way than you ever
Yes,
did.
exactly. You're not just sitting there laughing like I did when I saw Bill Cosby himself when I was little, and I'm busting laughing.
Right.
I'm looking at it differently, listening to it differently now. I'm like, wow.
And you're laughing, I think, for different reasons. You know what I mean? Like
Appreciating how much
Yeah.
that it takes to do
the
that.
fact that, Regan specifically, I always go back to Regan because that fucker can,
He's funny.
he's got 2 or 3 minutes on a dude that was selling refrigerators. And like the mind that it takes to find comedy in the mundane. It's easy to find comedy. I think that's why I'm evolving as a comic. It's easy to look at cocks and buttholes and find out what's funny about that, But he's got a thing about going to the butterfly pavilion with his kids. That
Yeah.
will,
Yeah.
that
I
will
remember
make
that,
you
yeah.
weep.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can sit and listen to his butterfly,
I remember. Yeah, I heard it.
if you can sit and listen to that bit without buckling over, there's something wrong with you. You know?
Yeah.
And like that, that's starting to happen to me now where, I got a dog a year ago and I hadn't had a dog for a few years, and I'm starting to see all of these things that I can make comedy out of with that. I'm in a pretty stable relationship right now. And now that it's about 2 years deep, I'm starting to see, all of the intense insanity is starting to level out, So it's like now that we're kind of easing into a mundane, I'm starting to see like, oh, this is really funny and that's really funny,
Yep.
And I don't know, I mean,
It really becomes of how you view things, everything around you, whether it's about yourself or whether it's about everything around you. Now, I don't know if you frequently watch Netflix or not,
Sure.
because there's so much comedy on there. I had watched. I know I had seen it when it was originally on in the 80s, but I had to watch it again. Kevin Pollak.
okay, yeah.
There was a few of them I had watched. One that's a lot more updated. It's newer. Just I think it came out last year. And then I saw something of him.
Well,
on
and that's
a radio
good for
show.
you too, because you're very voice,
Yeah,
actory.
yeah. I
That's more performance comedy than it is viewpoint comedy.
I appreciate his ability to he gets into this character and it just sucks you in.
Right.
And it's so fun to watch because
Which
he
is
does
what
it
you
so
do.
well.
Which, I mean, that's what I think you do. It's been
Yeah.
a while since I've seen you on stage, but I remember
I'm
that.
actually a lot better than when he
Oh,
saw
well,
me on stage. I swear to God.
I hope we all are.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, I hope we all are. And that's got nothing to do with amateur versus expert. I mean, I would hope that fucking Louis C.K. is better now than he was 4 years
did
ago.
you see him on
know?
SNL?
Not yet.
That was amazing. You could go to NBC.com and watch it.
You got to
And
always be getting better. I guess
Just
is my
his
point.
opening shtick alone, because it was the first show after Sandy happens. He came out and his opening monologue was a comedy bit, and I was double over laughing.
Right.
I was crying, and I laughed so hard that I had a headache.
Yeah.
It was that funny. So it was, and I kept it. I didn't erase it. I think I've watched it 4 times already just to see his opening monologue because it was just genius. And you know
But-
he wrote that quickly because that was not something
Right,
that
right.
it was newer material, and he is just so talented.
Well, and yeah, but you know, he's gotten better.
Oh yeah,
Every time you see him, he's funnier than the last
Yeah,
time you saw him.
yeah.
You know. So yes, I hope you're better than you were 3
Yeah.
years ago. Not
Well,
because you sucked 3 years ago,
I
but
probably
because you're
couldn't do more than 20 minutes back then. Now I do 40 minutes an hour.
nice.
So, but a lot of, and this is what I've realized. I really get into the crowd more. I never did that before. I
Crowd work.
I love it.
I'm afraid to do it. I'm terrified.
It's easy because when they know you're talking to them,
hmm
boom, they're not gonna converse back and forth at the table.
Right.
Even if they're which one of my last shows I did have, and she was a teacher at a preschool, and she gave me all this information. She was drinking. She was really drunk, and people were coming up to her telling her to be quiet. She was giving out all this information to everybody in the audience, everyone in the place, standing up, screaming out about where her daughter works, how old her daughter is, what size her daughter is. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And then I had another drunk guy over to my right who had such a thick Southern accent, I couldn't understand what he was saying. So I replied back to him with,
Right.
I mean, it was, and everyone just died.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and now I like doing stuff like
crowds love that
I
shit.
throw beads out like it's Mardi Gras. People go nuts.
When's the
You
last
know?
time you saw Catherine Maloney?
Oh, wow. I haven't seen her in a while.
Um,
Maybe a year ago.
the last couple times I've seen her.
we both tried out for a commercial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we wound up. I was there with Gwiggy and Chuck Glass, and we walked in, and she was there with Tony God.
Last
Yeah.
couple of times I've seen her, she spends the first, if she's doing, let's say 15, 20,
Mhm.
she spends the first 5 just fucking with the audience.
Yeah.
And it never fails to get them on her side. you know? And I don't know. I'm not quick enough on my feet, you know?
Well, I don't know if I can't tell if it's how I acted when I was little because I was always like that. But when I first started, I was too afraid to do that. I was just doing joke, get off.
Right.
Because I was looking at my time. I only have 6 minutes. I only have 8 minutes, whatever.
Mhm.
Then when you have more time, of course, it allows you. I found myself throwing out jokes so I could do crowd work.
Right.
I did a show, the last show I did in, New Orleans, in Louisiana. There was this drunk guy, his daughter just got married to a cop, and he wasn't too happy about it for some reason. And he let everyone there know. And then there was some English lady all the way to the left. And she was saying stuff that I couldn't understand because she was just yelling it out and she was too far away. So I was like, can't understand you. Everyone, by the way, we all watched the wedding, loved it. You know, it
Yeah.
was, and everyone knew what I was talking about because it had just happened. So, stuff like that, just generalizing, but not making fun of them. You know,
Right.
but not like, cursing them out, not going as far as I've seen back years ago when I used to do open mic at Side Splitters.
Mhm.
I remember, I think his name was Johnny B or something like that. He was thrown out.
Really?
I mean, I saw they took him by the arm and threw him out because remember
Johnny
that-
Bell. That's my boy.
Not Johnny Bell, no, Johnny B. He was an older guy. He had kind of whitish hair,
Okay, I don't
almost.
remember him.
It's not Johnny Bell. This was he's not really around in the scene anymore, I don't think. But he said, the C word, that good one.
Mhm.
He,
Kaka.
yeah. Well, he said that to a little old lady in the front row, and her entire family was there with her.
What a dick.
and remember, I don't know if you remember her. She was a comedian.
Yes.
Dottie.
Oh,
Remember
I'm
her?
thinking of, wasn't there one named Terry?
I remember Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this wasn't her. This was Dottie. She was really old. She was like in her 80s.
Okay, I don't know Dottie.
She passed away a couple years ago.
Probably before I
But
started.
I mean, I was at the bar. I wasn't in the room, and they threw him out physically.
I mean, was there even any kind of context, or was he just, hey, look at this cunt here? I mean,
it was something like that, and it was so brazen, and he embarrassed her in front of her her grandkids were there with her.
and that's what I was talking about earlier. That thing of like,
You can't talk like that at one of those clubs
It's not even that. It's,
unless you're established. Then
it's-
you could say whatever you want.
well, and it's also that thing of like, is your comedy based around shock value, or if you're dropping the N-bomb, are you doing it contextually to the point
To
where
get a reaction out of somebody.
right? Are you doing it just so people will go, "Ooh, he said that"?
Yeah.
Or are you doing it like someone like Norton or Louis C.K. who can
Right.
contextualize
When-
it to the point.
Exactly. Louis actually, when he says it, it's not for shock value.
Right.
It totally has a purpose for what he's
Exactly.
saying. So,
And that's the thing. I mean, I think you can probably get away with calling a woman in the audience cunt, but you do it. I mean, Patrice O'Neal, I'm sure, had done that at some point, you know, but you do it in such a. I saw this interview with O'Neal one time, and he said that comedy, it's all about manipulation. It's you make them hate you, but then you make them love you again, and you just keep playing with their heads.
that's if
you
that's
know?
that type of comedian.
Right,
where
right.
He wants to do that. Not, I don't think.
And that's what I'm
everybody's like
saying.
that.
I think
Yeah.
the right comic who kind of has that thing of like, aren't I evil? You know what I mean? Like that's their persona. I'm the evil guy. So then you can start calling people in the audience horrible names. Fucking Don Rickles style.
He
you know
was
what I mean?
awesome. I saw him with Joan Rivers. It was so
I
funny.
bet that was amazing.
It was so funny. He made a guy in the front with third row leave the whole entire arena, and he sat down next to his wife. They brought him back in a couple minutes, like 15 minutes later. But he was just so funny the way he did everything. That was very, very funny. The whole thing was, yeah.
We have to check our messages while we're
No,
live
my
on
yeah, I
the
guess
air.
my sister's kids were watching, and the words we used kind of.
You told me I could say whatever I wanted.
I know, but I realized that they're watching. Yeah. Sorry,
almost called
sorry,
you a-
kids. Sorry about the language.
I almost called you a C word there.
You don't. You mean a Christian?
Yes.
It's a bad word nowadays. Anyway, God, now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, when I realize that someone's really good is when I'm not touching my phone. I'm not reaching for my phone. I'm not looking at the time. I'm not looking around. When I'm totally engrossed in what they're saying, and the time flies by so quick, I want more.
So you're showing me how awful I am because you were touching the phone.
No, because it popped up and I knew I was supposed to call my sister, and
I'm
she was
kidding.
going, "Oh my God," because Anyway, I feel bad now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, kids. Aunt Shashi loves you.
Yeah, this is what you get for bringing Alan Dempsey on the show. I mean, really, what did you expect to happen?
Oopsie.
Oopsie.
Oopsie poopsie. Okay, so now they're gonna have this thing for Sandy at Tampa Improv this Sunday. What time does it start?
I want to say 9:30.
9:30. Okay. And is there a certain amount to get in, or is it give what you can? Or
From what
how are
I
they doing
understand,
this?
I might be way off on this. As I understand it, it's a $10 ticket,
Okay.
and all of the ticket money is going
Awesome.
straight out to Sandy. And
Okay.
I haven't heard anything about getting any money, so I'm assuming none of the comics are being paid. You know,
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
sure the club's still selling food and drinks.
Oh,
so
yeah. And
they're
it's
gonna
like
make their-
$8 drink there.
yeah,
you know?
they're gonna make their money that way.
Yeah.
But the money that you're paying to get in the door
Okay,
is
good.
flying straight up to New York.
Good. So probably right to Red Cross because that's the quickest way they're helping everybody.
I would assume.
So yeah, and then everybody, if anyone hasn't donated yet, go to www.redcross.org, and you could see even just a little bit, even $10 can help a long way. The more the better. The more people that call in, or whether they do it online or by phone, it definitely helps. So okay, so I'm going to call her real quick.
Do I have to apologize?
Oh, yeah. I guess she's tuning out. She's not watching any longer. So yeah, oops. We'll do it another time.
Well, if
Oopsie
she's not,
doopsie.
then I can start saying cunt again, right?
Apparently, but I don't know. My mom's probably gonna be real pissed. But Sharon, don't you have to show one who's this person?
Just
Hey.
have him send all hate mail to me.
What's his name again?
Frodo.
Frodo. I was gonna.
This fucker.
I was gonna say Precious.
When we
Precious!
we come in,
Precious.
we go, hey, we go, what do we call you? He says Adam or Frodo. How do you put those two things?
Well,
Just call me Jim or Darth
Wait,
Vader.
okay.
Whatever.
do you have a middle name? I gotta know this.
Yeah,
What is it?
Charles.
Charles.
Adam Charles Frodo.
Adam. Charles Adam Frodo. Charles Frodo Adam.
Baggins.
My Frodo also has a Facebook page too.
Your Frodo.
My Frodo persona.
It's Tolkien's Frodo.
You
thank
have
you.
an alternate. Okay, she's waiting to call. I'm gonna call her. Hey, can you call that number that I gave you? I'm gonna call my niece.
So what do we do here? How old is your niece?
She's 8.
All right, so I'm just not going to talk at all.
8. You can say hi to her. 8 or she may have
What
just
do we
turned 9.
what do we do here? Do we ask her about school and her ABCs?
We could totally do that. You're a teacher, right? What are you teaching? Science?
We'll get into that.
Hello?
Hello, is this Sarah Green?
Yes?
This is your Aunt Shashi.
Hi, Sassy.
You're on Seriously Silly with Sharon. Can hear the feedback.
Oh, hi.
Turn
Hi,
down your
sweetie
radio.
pie.
I want to sing a song for you.
Okay, I would love for you to sing me a song, honey.
Go ahead. I'm a turkey knocked at my back door and I invited him in. 'Twas a 10 November Thursday, so I invited him in. Would he come into my kitchen? My friend, I brought some water for tea. Come and sit here in my kitchen. Well, chat, have a cookie, maybe 2 or 3. And said, no, 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 I won't come into your kitchen. He said, no, 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 I'll see you another day.
That's awesome! Yay!
Yaman.
Jamaican Yaman! Sarah!
I want to say a couple of jokes.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
tell us some jokes,
I'm
honey.
in.
Why didn't the turkey eat dessert?
Why didn't the turkey eat dessert? I don't know. Why didn't he eat dessert?
He was already stuffed.
Good one.
Good job, sweetie pie. You have anything else?
What's the best thing to put into a pumpkin pie?
What?
Your teeth.
Your teeth? That's good, honey.
And can I send out a shout out?
You're adorable. Yes, send out a shout out, baby.
I would like to shout out to my teachers, Mr. Owen and Mrs. Espetti, and all my friends. You guys rock.
Oh, that's so
Aw.
sweet. Are you enjoying
I
school?
love you, Sassy.
Oh, I love you, Sarah. I miss you.
Happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you, honey. Mwah, 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 mwah. Okay.
Talk to you later.
Okay,
Okay.
talk to you later, sweetie pie.
Bye-bye.
Bye, honey. She's so cute.
And back to the filth.
Back to the show, Carolyn. You may want to. I'm not sure. You may want to put the kids in another room. All right, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, for singing that song and telling some jokes. My eyes are all like teary now and glossy.
Mine too.
They're up in Long Island, so I don't get to see her very often.
See, I
got some
I
in the
couldn't
summer.
crack the accent a couple times. She said a few words. I didn't have any idea what she was talking about.
It's so cute though. I could understand her. That was really cute. I'm glad she called. Or I called her. That's right. So, can I call you King?
King? King
Well, he's
Jackass?
Frodo, so you know.
Why not?
King.
Yeah.
It's good to be the king.
Wow. I wouldn't know.
Okay. So, what kind of do you have certain kind of material that you kind of lead towards, or is it kind of a bunch of everything? Is it?
I think
do you talk about your job at all on stage or about the
I've
kids? or-
started
Yeah.
because I don't plan to do this for much longer.
Why not?
I hate it. It's a miserable job. It's thankless. It has no any benefit I used to get from this job.
Yeah.
I no longer have. I'm a teacher, by the way. If anyone
Is
has
it
any,
just where you're at, or is it just the job itself?
it's all of that.
Everything.
I mean, where I am isn't great, but beyond that, just it's just thankless. I mean, what I used to like about it gets taken away from you a little bit more and more every year, to the point where it's just you might as well just set yourself on fire
Oh my God.
and then douse yourself out for 30 minutes for lunch and then just reignite yourself.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
you know,
Well, I gotta ask, what are the ages that you're teaching? Is it middle school,
I do
high
middle
school?
school.
A middle school, okay.
and I do. Last year I did the whole range. This year it's both ends. I got 8th graders on one end and 6th graders on the other.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My son's in 9th and my daughter's in 6th. So I have one in high school and one in middle. I feel your pain.
No, you don't.
Believe me, I do. I'm a single mom. I feel your pain.
Well, okay, you do.
Yeah. So what kind of material do you really like to delve into?
You know, it kind of depends on where I end up you know, like I said, lately it's been getting more observational and more, you know, it
Is
all.
it conversational at all, or is
Oh
it?
yeah, I
Okay.
mean, my whole when I do well, when I do really well, it's like the audience kind of already knows what kind of comic I am before I start.
Right.
They can kind of tell this is one of those guys who stands here and talks like he's at a dinner party.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
I am the funniest guy in the room. You
I
know?
saw it with
And,
I think one
not
of the
that
last
I
times
am,
I saw
but-
you at Side Splitters, I was sitting at the bar. I was laughing my ass off. I don't
Well,
even
thank you.
remember. I don't remember what specific joke it was.
Oh, I could see it had a profound effect
I'm
on you.
telling you, no, but I don't really want to say it on it. But it was just I remember laughing really really loud.
Well, and I, you know, so it's very conversational and it's not interactive, but I think that I have this style that makes people feel like I'm talking to them specifically. So,
Well, that will make them pay attention even more.
right.
Yeah.
And even when I'm bombing, it's usually, you know, people staring at me and saying nothing. You know, I mean,
What's he
I've,
gonna say next?
I've at the very least, I've got your attention. You may hate everything that's coming out of my
But
mouth.
that's good. You have their attention.
Yeah, I
That's-
mean, I kind of well, and that's also me. I kind of demand your attention. I started to notice that recently. I did 2 or 3 just horrible shows in a row, and I mean, rooms that I should not have been in, audiences that I do have no business being in front of, and I'm just eating a big steaming plate of my balls. But I found about myself that I'm getting less confrontational on stage, but I still have that thing of like, God damn it, you're going to listen to me. You know what I mean? You may hate
I
it,
have
you
the
may not
mic.
react, but you are going to hear what I have to say, you know? And I find a way to kind of at least give them that, you know? Are you still getting mean messages about me?
No, she's happy. Her friends are calling her. They were all listening.
Okay.
It was good. I'm happy.
Can I take
She
this
did-
away
she
from
did a
you?
good. Here you go. Here you go.
This goes
You
with
should
the
see-
crown.
You should see what Tony does to me when he's.
What's that?
like, I didn't know he wasn't going to be here. He usually like if I have a coffee, usually sometimes I'll bring in a big coffee. And I brought water tonight. He'll take my coffee away from me, and it drives me absolutely nuts. It's almost like, give me the coffee, give me the coffee. No, I want the coffee. Tony, give me the coffee, and I'll reach for it, and he slaps my hands, and he like pushes me away, and he's like he holds it over my head like, you're not
He
getting it.
plays keep
You're
away
not
with you.
get- Yes. And that was the big game for my sister and my dad when I was little. Was keep away from Sharon. Oh, remember that? That was funny. Let's do that again. Let's do it on your birthday
Jesus
and
Christ.
Thanksgiving. No, I'm not bitter at all. Thank you very much. It was what?
We're having
What?
a complete childhood
What?
meltdown right
I'm
now.
not
I'm
gonna have a childhood
I'm a little
meltdown.
scared.
I'm not gonna have a childhood meltdown. I'm
little
just
scared.
saying that it hurt. Okay.
I want to dive under the table, protect myself.
Son of a bitch.
I want to give you my shrink's
Keep away,
number.
keep away. Do you really have it on you?
Yes.
Can I have the card?
She's
Can I
pretty
have the
good.
card? I want-
It's not a card. I can put it in your phone.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
You don't gonna know what kind of damage has been done to me.
I'm getting an idea.
So my birthday's Friday, and I'm gonna be 22.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, yay. So I'm glad that my birthday doesn't actually land on Thanksgiving Day, which so many years it does. And my mom puts a birthday candle in the turkey,
Oh, that's awful.
and she makes me make a wish and blow on.
You really are having a complete weird childhood regression
no, this
meltdown
isn't
right
childhood.
now.
This is like usually every year, even when I'm adult. And one year, like about 3-4 years ago, she forgot, and then she goes, "Oh, we need to put the candle in the turkey," and it was already carved, and she wanted me to blow on the carcass. It was the ribs.
That's going to be the name of my first album, Blow on the Carcass.
Everything was hanging out. It was all, you could see the dead apple inside. It was all shriveled up, and I didn't want to make a wish. I didn't want to blow on it. Sometimes you just don't. You have to choose not to blow, and usually
Wow.
that's the correct decision.
And that's where
I got to tell you. And
That's where the unrest occurs.
and that's where you go around the table and say what you're thankful for. So okay, you're just starting to talk about your job on stage.
Just started, yeah.
Okay. And
And-
do you talk about your personal life on stage at all? Like about your family?
Oh
or
yeah,
relationships,
yeah.
anything
I
like
do.
that?
Like I said, I draw so much from where I am personally that, for a long time, when I first started in therapy, it's all introspection.
Mm,
And
mhm.
my entire act turned into let me open up my guts and spill all my neurosis,
Mm.
to the point where when I started to make some progress in therapy, I had to try to find a way, because that's what I do, right? I get up on stage and
That's
I'm,
like a fat comic losing a whole bunch of weight and then they can't tell their fat jokes.
right. Exactly.
You know?
And, I don't know. I admire anyone who's able to like sit down and, okay, I will write comedy now, because that's not what I do,
No, it doesn't come like that. I mean,
Well, it does to some.
Well, I've had months that's dry, and then
Yeah,
all of
oh,
a sudden
yeah.
day I like wrote 8, 9 jokes, boom, 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 boom.
Well, my curse is that I don't write anything down. I just, because
Oh, you have
I'm
to.
so rhythm.
Even if it's just an idea. You know?
Well, I'm so rhythm oriented that what I do is I kind of say it out loud to myself 6, 7, 8 times.
I usually do that when I'm practicing. But you gotta.
But-
you have no like set list of something that you put in blocks. That's how I write it.
Well, no. But again, it's all in my head. It's not physically written out. Like I can find those bridges. Like, okay, so if I do this thing, then I can transition into this thing,
Mhm,
and then
mhm,
that'll fill up the next
That's
3
amazing.
minutes.
You
and
don't
I
have
can-
like books of all the
Nah.
stuff. Wow, I have so many books of stuff written. And sometimes, like I did this in college, to memorize something like, say, biology and all the definitions I was given, I would write it over and over and over and over again. Sometimes even start singing it so I could memorize it.
right.
So, and it works.
Well, and it's weird. I mean, everybody
well, they have their own.
everybody learns
yeah.
differently, and everybody creates differently. That's my hippie teacher bullshit coming out of me. But
Yeah, man, I totally understand. I dig it.
but
Totally dig it.
for me, like when I was in school, I took notes and I would read my notes and that would help me on the test. But, I remember having these literature teachers that were like, you should be writing in your books. Your book should be full of margins and notes. And that stuff was always just in my head. I could read fucking Frankenstein and react to it up here and just remember it the next day. Like that.
Do you
That's
have
just
that
me.
type
I mean,
of like eidetic memory? Do you have like a photogenic memory, or do you feel like you could read something?
rhythms and repetition are really good with me. Like
Yeah.
I can sit here and I'm not gonna, but I could do word for word entire Carlin bits.
That's awesome. Well, then again, I could do a Mel Brooks movie right now.
Right. And
That's
bi-
just
and
or a
we're
song
talking-
you haven't heard in 20 years.
Oh yeah, but I mean, think about what we're talking here. We're talking, especially somebody like Carlin and Brooks. I mean, these are musical comedians. You know what I mean? If you wipe the screen on a Brooks movie and just listen to it, you can tell he's in that editing booth with the editor going, pause another second right there.
Mhm.
Smash that a little bit closer together. Boom, boom,
You
boom.
ever
boom,
listen to even in the producers when he wasn't physically in the movie, he was writing the songs, writing the music, and in even one part, it was his voice that was coming out of another actor on
Mhm.
stage. Him and Carl Reiner. You ever hear those the old albums from 1961,
No,
62, something like that? Really funny. It's called The 2,000-Year-Old Man.
I'm aware of the bit.
Yeah, and they have another one. There's a psychiatrist bit. There's all these different bits they do, but and it's in front of a live audience. And they started out doing it at parties in front of their friends, and
Right.
then everyone was like, "You should totally make an album." And that's how it started. I mean, the two of them together, Carl Reiner and Bill Brooks.
Well, and it's all about, I mean, I guess when you're talking about me and whether or not I write things down, I'm so rhythm and so cadence oriented that,
right.
If I'm bombing, this. When you believe in the bit, it does better.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're bombing, you just kind of go into automatic mode.
Yeah.
And I can sit and do the bit rhythmically exactly the way I did it the night before. I'm going to sound exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
But one night it murders, one night I eat my ass.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it could
And
be the same exact bit, different crowd. One night you kill, one night you suck.
And it's, so that's why, I mean, again, for me, it's all, I keep it in my memory because I know topics, like, okay, so maybe from there I could do a men and women thing. Okay, what do I have on men and women? I've got this old thing that I used to do. I've got this newer thing. I got this other thing I was thinking about on the toilet today, whatever,
Mhm. Yeah.
And my conversation when I'm with my buddies jacking around, like jacking around.
Hey, you got anything? Do you?
Conversationally, I have this tendency to throw out something really funny,
Right.
and then it stays in the brain like shit. Write that down, or
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, I think that's another reason why, I could just be cleaning the floor, thinking of something, and then I'll think of a joke on top of the thing I'm thinking of, and I'm like, oh my god, that's fucking hilarious.
Mhm.
And then I just start doing a routine out loud
Mm.
while I'm cleaning the floor, and eventually it gels into something
Mhm.
manageable. Now I might go try it on stage, and it's you get it 30 seconds into it, and you're like, oh, this is garbage.
Have you ever do you ever have ideas like when you're in that kind of not quite asleep yet, you're in that kind of like lucid dreaming state where you think something like, oh my God, like right before you fall asleep? Or is it more when you're in the motion of doing something like driving or actually like cleaning the floor, doing something like that when your brain's working more maybe?
I think that's what I was unsuccessfully trying to say before, was that for me, it's about how I'm living my life.
Right.
And the experience I'm having. So when I didn't have a girlfriend and I was totally in my own head in therapy,
Mhm.
that's where all the comedy came from. Because I would say things to my shrink, and on the way home, I'd be like, I can turn that into something.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
When other things in my life started popping up, I got a dog, get a girlfriend, now I'm actively doing those things.
Right, right.
And the comedy just presents itself. You end up doing a whole bit about how the dog doesn't shit inside or outside. He just doesn't shit, and it's infuriating, and you just, before you know it, you've got a whole, or, as you change, what you see changes. Like, you're never going to even notice Humane Society commercials if you don't have a dog sitting right next to you on the couch.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You get a dog sitting next to you on the couch, you start paying attention to pet-related things.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that broadens.
Well, it's like when you get a new car, then you see it everywhere.
Right. And that broadens topic-wise. Every time how many times have you learned a fact and then you hear somebody say that fact 30 times in the next month?
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You always heard people saying that fact. You just never noticed.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's on the brain.
Mhm.
Having a dog is on the brain. Having a girlfriend is on the brain, which causes you to notice, like, my friend's relationship works this way, but my relationship works that way. And it's something you would have never thought about
Right.
before you had that person. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's that. So I think I just, whatever I'm doing is causing me to broaden my brain in different areas, which just causes me to just see stupidity in everything. And, oh, there's a joke there. There's a joke there. There's a joke there,
It's almost a joke in everything, really.
Oh,
It
there
just
is.
Now, has your family ever seen you on stage?
My brother has. My father's a pastor.
Oh, this is yeah. That's an hour special right
I was
there.
about
for
to say, we got
HBO.
20 minutes left. I don't know
Hey.
how much longer we can milk
let's,
this tit.
Let's do this. Wait, what type of pastor?
He is a Pentecostal preacher.
Okay.
Holy Ghost. Hoot.
Okay, so yeah, I'm a defunct Catholic, so not sure. Explain in a short little nugget what Pentecostal.
Pentecostal, I mean, I guess if you had to, it's a really excited Baptist. Is what a
Okay.
Pentecostal is.
I have seen excited Southern Baptist. I dated one. That was
And-
very interesting.
The tongue talking, that's a part of it.
Oh,
People
wow.
getting the Holy Ghost, taking a
Yeah.
lap around the church.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The
Oh,
whole,
so it's
the whole
really,
shebang.
really
It's the
energized.
real deal.
Okay, you can lose some weight going to church. Okay.
Oh, yeah. People getting slain in the spirit, all that stuff.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And what's crazy, shit, let's go. Let's go. We got 19 minutes. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, you go. I'm sure you're interested or have questions. Or should I just start railing?
You could do whatever you want. I mean, it depends whether you want to talk about it or not. I don't
No,
know.
let's go.
Okay. 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 So your father hasn't seen you on stage. What does he think about your comedy career?
They are, I think they're both surprised. And I think that as much as they are able, they are proud.
As much as they hear.
And when I say that, I mean, because, I mean, how many times have I said cunt tonight? I mean, I'm not making them.
So they're not watching, or do you think they are? Or did you
I
tell
mean,
them about it?
I'm not making them proud. Well, I refuse to let them like be friends on my Facebook thing because I want to update it with stupid
Yeah,
shit and I
yeah.
want to say the word fuck and I want to be left alone,
Okay.
And but they are aware that what I do on stage is not clean.
Okay.
There's no secrets in the family, but I'm reluctant, to have them come and see my clitoral mutilation joke.
It's
you
almost
know.
like He's a comic, if you heard. Oh my
Well,
god.
no, and that's the thing is like I think that I don't think it's a secret. I mean, I
No,
think
just as much as you would say he's a drug addict. you know?
no. I mean, like I think that they tell people. Like I think that
Well,
they're
that's good.
they
So
are-
I'm proud of you.
they are proud of me,
That's good.
but I think there's also this kind of like, oh, what's he doing?
You
know what I mean? It's that thing. It's, oh,
So what'd your brother think?
he loves it.
That's good.
He's spoken very favorably about my act.
Is he
Whoa, am I
younger?
going in and out? Whoa.
Hello. Is he younger or older?
He is 3 years older.
Okay.
His birthday is soon, in a few days.
Is soon. So's mine. 22.
22, me too. Always. I just tell people I'm 95 inside. That's how I always
95
Yeah,
inside.
Inside, I'm 95. That's how I.
Get away from me. I was in Korea. Okay, so so you just have a brother, no
Yeah.
other siblings, and you won't let them on your Facebook. That's funny. When you were little, did you know you wanted to do this?
I
Or,
didn't know
mean,
till I
when
was
did you realize that you wanted to do this?
when I was 30.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I would always fantasize about it because I was so obsessed with these other comics.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you just. I mean, look, when you watch the Oscars, you start imagining yourself walking
Yeah,
around. You
but
know what I
you
mean?
kind of think it's unattainable. That's for the
Right.
stars.
And there was this little nugget in the back of my head, like maybe I could do this. I don't know. And when I turned about 30, I was in a. This is so, but it's so fucking melodramatic what I'm about to say. But I was in a very like bad place emotionally, and I was really having a hard time.
How do you feel about that?
And I started paying attention to things about comedy.
Mhm.
Not just listening to comics, but I started listening to a lot of comics talk about comedy. And it seemed like when they would talk, I could relate,
Okay.
They would say things about, like I remember one guy, Ahmed said, yeah, I've had my battles with depression, as have all comedians. And I was like, I understand that, and I heard Lewis Black say some things about,
The finger.
yeah.
With him.
I can't remember what he said, but he talked about what got him into comedy. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I feel the same way. And I just started to realize, like,
You're like, oh my god!
I
It's
think-
like someone coming out of the closet all of a sudden realizing
Yeah.
I'm a comic. you
Yeah.
know?
And it was also that thing of like, because of what was happening to me emotionally at the time, I was really shutting down. And I was getting to this point where I wasn't hardly talking when I was going out with people.
You were in a cocoon.
Oh, yeah.
And now you're a butterfly.
And
Wings.
that was really gay.
Well, transformations. Fun.
But yeah, there's something to what you just said. I mean, I was getting to the point where I'd go out with my friends and I had very little to say.
Uh-huh.
And I found myself going like, if I made the effort, I could be the most entertaining guy at the table. But I just didn't care enough to even try.
Right.
But because I wasn't saying things were building up in my skull. And it was like, I've got to get this stuff from here and put it out here, or bad things are going to happen, So I just did it. I was like, fuck it, let me do
That's
this.
pretty much how that's when I started. I was, okay, if I don't try, I don't want to wake up and be 70 years old feeling like shit because I never even tried,
Right.
because I at least had to try. And, I always just,
And it's also, it's how you measure success. I mean, right now, I'm not worried about being a famous comic.
Mhm.
Right now, I'm worried about being a guy who can get people to laugh for 20 minutes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Let me just start there, And, some of that's I'm teaching, so that eats up all my energy and all my time, which is another reason why I don't quit that goddamn job.
Mm.
But, it's how do you measure, would I love to do this as a career? Absolutely. But you're right. When I'm 70, here are the crazy things I did in my time,
yeah.
Well,
There's one thing in it that you have to look at different ways where, okay, do I want to go to 7 open mics this week? Do I
Right.
want to, do I have time to do that? Do I have the energy to do that? Do I have time to go from city to city to city and have enough to, number one, have enough for lodging and gas and food? And am I going to make more than what I have
Right.
to spend on getting there? And you have to kind of work your way up through, okay, you hit this club, this one, up the state, and then go through Georgia, then go through North Carolina and everything. And you have to you have to be your own manager. You have to be
Mhm.
your own, there's no, until you get to a certain point, you don't have an agent working for you or a booker or something until you get to that point, or you're playing college after college after college after college. But you won't have, if you do that, you're giving up your a personal life. You're
Yeah.
giving up everything else. It's kind of like one or the other. And it is. When I first started, I was like, oh my God, I was like that, like, thinking everybody has problems. Everyone's screwed up. Everyone's depressed. Da, da, da. I fell right into that hole.
Right.
I was just like, wow, I'm a comic now. I'm depressed. So it worked out. So. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not.
Well, and that's that's something I have yet to. Again, I'm far more concerned about being good at the moment. But I have yet to really plant my foot and start doing the kind of things you're saying.
Have you
know.
ever recorded yourself at all?
Yeah.
To watch yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And that helps as well. Just to check.
But what you were saying about turning it into a career, I mean, yeah, everything you just said scared the shit out of me.
Why?
Because, well, ultimately, the main thing that I got to worry about is I've got 2 chronic illnesses. I've got diabetes and another thing.
Mhm.
So I have really expensive medicine that I have to take,
Right,
or
right.
I will die.
It is. It's a big step and it's a big
You know.
chance to take.
Yeah.
And it could either pay you off or it could not. So I
Right.
mean, it's really.
And
it
we're
is
not. I mean,
chance.
ultimately, Tampa is so weird. I mean, I guess we're in Clearwater right now, but
Yeah.
this area it's such a odd place because it's like we want to be a real city, so we have
We have 7 buildings.
we have all the things, but all the things are not exploding. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you're looking for the art community, you can find it in Tampa, Clearwater, that area.
Mhm.
You can find music, you can find comedy. I'm so lucky that I got the bug in Tampa and I wasn't in Idaho with no comedy clubs around.
Yeah.
I mean, there are places where I can stand and talk into a mic.
Right.
But it's like, how big can you get? You and I are friends with all of the most famous Tampa people.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's what they are. And God bless them.
Yeah.
They're hilarious and they're great and they deserve comedy respect. But where do you go? I mean, how many other people have we known that fucked off and went to LA?
Yeah.
I know.
I could name 10 of them right now
Exactly.
that have moved to LA because,
So you can go be the bottom. I mean, do you want to be the big fish in the small pond, or do you want to go fuck off to LA and be a nobody?
Yeah, but a lot of them did not have the kind of attachments or responsibilities that, like, I can't just up and go
Right.
to LA.
Right.
Some of them don't have kids. Some of them weren't married. Some of them, the kids were old enough and they could do that.
Mhm.
There were a certain point in their life where they realized, I can do this. Screw it. I'm young enough. I'm not attached down to a certain, thing right here. And they felt like they can make that move. For instance, Second City or Tampa, what do you call it? Improv Olympics or anything along that line where you could get into Saturday Night Live because that's where they
Right.
mainly pick everybody from.
Mhm.
I would want to do that so badly.
Mhm.
That would be great. And everything that I've done for the last 5 years with Got Jokes doesn't count. I would have
Exactly.
to. It doesn't. I've already called them and asked because it doesn't matter what you did, where you did it, and what company. If you go with Second City, you have to start with their comedy or improv 101 and go from there.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing with.
Well, it's not the military. You can't go to ROTC and then be level 3 when you
Right.
get into the army. I
Right,
mean, it's
right. So,
so you and I have been to boot camp.
Yeah.
We absolutely have dodged bullets and we've crawled under barbed wire and we've done,
I played barbed wire for 2 months. Every weekend while people threw beer bottles and buckets of balls and cursed and screamed and heckled as worst as they could
yeah,
to try to break you.
right.
And a lot
I mean,
of
we've
times
crawled
when
under the barbed wire and, it's so funny. I'm talking to, oh, Jesus, Ron Horton.
yeah, my friends are on.
Yeah, and he was talking about how he got to the point where he couldn't do open mics anymore. He just couldn't do it. It was driving him crazy.
Mhm. I don't do open mics anymore either.
But again, so you and I and him have potentially reach this level where we're I don't want to use the word above, but we don't do open mics anymore.
No,
or we
I
don't
just-
have to, or whatever you want to
If I
call
have new
it.
material, I work it in when I get paid jobs. I work it in.
Right. But you can't, nobody gives a fuck in LA. You know what I mean? Who's Ron Hortman? Who gives a shit?
Right.
You know what I
I
mean?
understand. I
Talented
know. I know.
motherfucker.
I
Funny, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you look at him, you see professional comic just dripping off of
Yeah.
the guy, you know. But who gives a damn? He's in Tampa, right? I mean,
And I have some acting friends. I'm sitting in my living room watching the Sci-Fi Channel or that new show Revolution. I'm like, holy crap! I'm like smacking my son's. That's my friend.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm seeing more and more of my friends on TV, and my son turns to me and goes, "You gotta do something, Ma. You gotta get it. Come on, you gotta do something." I'm like, "Thank you very much." We have a couple of minutes left. Isn't that right, Frodo? 2 minutes. I have 2 minutes left.
2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Let's play $10,000 pyramid.
Okay, good. The password is
Nipple.
nipple.
Not playing porno password with my mother. That's it. Okay,
Center.
so who Center. What Frodo's laughing. Okay. If you could give me some of your favorite comics, who would they be? Who's your inspiration?
Greg Behrendt, Jim Norton, George Carlin, Louis C.K., early Patton Oswalt, Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. Love Bill Burr.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is my new hero. We lost Patrice O'Neill way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a fucking genius.
Do you have a website?
Do I have a website?
Yeah.
Not.
No. Okay.
No.
Do you have a Facebook / whatever?
Yeah, comedian Alan Dempsey
Okay.
on the Facebook.
If anybody wants to check him out or anything that he's upcoming shows, and he's gonna be at Tampa Improv this Sunday for the Sandy.
Hurricane Sandy something. Go.
I'm
I'm the worst fucking. Is there any wonder why I make no progress in this fucking industry? I don't know what I'm talking about.
To Hurricane Superstorm Sandy, and we want to thank you for tuning in to Seriously Silly with Sharon on Comedy Slam Radio. You can check us out on Ustream.tv to watch reruns and podcasts. Thank you, Alan Dempsey, for coming out tonight, and thank you everybody for watching. We'll see.
This
you
is what I
next
look
week,
like.
Everybody, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I look like this.
Bye.
What was that? I'll tell you what that was. That was another fine show from ComedySlamRadio.com, where we put the .com in